Hello everyone and welcome to the Leeds and West Yorkshire Careers Graduate event. So we'll be talking about careers and opportunities in Leeds and West Yorkshire. So before we begin, I just would like to quickly outline the graduate outcomes survey. So this is a survey that you'll get asked to complete around 15 months after you've graduated. It takes probably 5-10 minutes to complete, and it's basically asking about your university experience and how your degree has helped you in your career journeys after graduation. So any feedback is super useful, as it means that the university can keep progressing and help future students. So when you do get this email come through, please do fill out the survey, as it's really helpful for us. And now to introduce our panelists. Today we're really lucky to have Vibe with us, and she is from Adoption England and works within Leeds City Council. And then we've got Anna with us as well, who works at the University of Leeds. Vibe, if you wouldn't mind going first.
Yeah. Hi everyone, I'm Veb, and I've been working with the Adoption England team for about 1 year, over 1 year. And I actually came to the University of Leeds for a master's degree. So I did a master's in corporate comms, marketing, and public relations. And immediately after graduating from the University of Leeds, I got a job within Adoption England. So my role is pretty much regarding within the communications and marketing team. So we directly work with the Department for Education, and we kind of get the funding from them, and we run a lot of adoption campaigns and national adoption campaigns. We have different events throughout the year, such as National Adoption Week. So we try to do a lot of marketing activities during that time period. So my time at University of Leeds, especially as an international student, was really great. I had a lot of fun, not just with regards to the course, but also the extracurricular activities. And I feel like when you come to a new country as an international student, you get very worried in terms of securing a job. So my only suggestion would be like not to take things too much at a fast pace, or like immediately, just applying for jobs and just sitting like, oh, since day one of coming. I would suggest to take your time, finish the course, engage yourself with a lot of extracurricular activities, and then eventually apply to roles that are relevant. Another thing that I have noticed is working in Leeds. So I actually really liked Leeds in my time at the university. So I was only looking for jobs in and around Yorkshire and Leeds. So luckily there was a very relevant opening for me at Adoption England. So I ended up applying and getting through. So that was really, really good for me. And I'm hoping to stay here for really long. So cross fingers it works out. And I try to engage myself with a lot of University of Leeds activities. One reason because when I was during, it was just a 1 year course, but in that 1 year time period, I had so much fun. And it was not in terms of just like, engaging myself with a lot of activities. There's this initiative called Give to Leeds. So I kind of engaged with a lot of alumni during that initiative. It was really nice to know about what the university is doing other than just, other than you just studying for a course and it just gets over in a year. So yeah, joining. Another part that I would like to cover in my talk would be joining public sector was something I've always wanted to do. And I come with experience which is international experience back in India. That's where I'm from. So I've tried to focus myself around public sector, and giving have putting up some change, and like being a part of a change is something that really holds value in my heart. So this is the reason why I really wanted to work within public sector, and especially when I found an opportunity in Leeds, it basically ticked all my boxes. So yeah, please feel free to share any questions, and I'm happy to answer.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you so much. That was really insightful, especially working within the public sector in Leeds, which is, I know, what a lot of students from the University of Leeds are also quite interested in going into. And we'll move on to Anna, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for having me, for inviting me. My name is Anna. Like Viv, I also did a master's in the University of Leeds. So I'm originally from Ecuador, so I came here to do my master's in 2022. And then after graduating, I stayed in the university and I haven't left since. So to just give a bit of background, so I'm currently working as an assistant international officer in the international office within the University of Leeds. But yeah, just to give a bit more background on my career, I guess I studied my undergraduate degree in Ecuador before I came here. I did a bachelor's in international relations, and then when I was doing that, I did a study abroad year in Germany. And when I was in Germany, I met someone from the University of Leeds who was doing their year abroad in the same place that I was, and from there I kind of started learning about the university. And then when I was looking for a master's opportunity after I graduated, I guess the University of Leeds was always kind of in my radar, even though I've never come to the UK and I have never even heard that much about Leeds. But yeah, I guess when I came here, it was I didn't know much about Leeds, and it wasn't really on my radar in terms of like staying afterwards. I would say as an international student, I guess you always kind of come thinking you'll go to London or Manchester or like a big city like that. But then while I was studying here, I really fell in love with Leeds. I really liked it, and like with Yorkshire in general, I feel like I didn't know what to expect. And then when I got here, I really liked it. I liked the university, I liked the city itself, and like all the little things surrounding Leeds and like the region. Um, and while I was doing my master's degree during that year, I had the opportunity of working part-time at the university. So I worked in the career service. And while I was working there as a peer support assistant, I kind of got to know a bit more about the opportunities available, not only in the university, but also like around Leeds, and the support for graduates and for students who are looking to do things after graduation and stay in the city. So I think that kind of helped me realize that there was a big chance of me staying in Leeds, and kind of guiding that plan of me wanting to stay in Leeds. So after I finished, or right before I finished, I actually found a role in the career service, a full year internship. Well, I was working with Tom in Sonia's old role. So I was a graduate support intern at the career service, and that really helped me because I feel like I thought I knew a lot about careers because I had previously, like, obviously worked as a peer support assistant, and I was like, yeah, I know everything. But then when I was working full time on the career service, then I found out that there were so many other opportunities available for graduates from the University of Leeds to stay in Leeds and stay in Yorkshire. And that was really helpful because I remember I went to a lot of events in the city that were like different about different topics, like about tech and like different industries that I honestly had never even thought about considering. And it was just really interesting to see how many opportunities there are in Leeds to span your career. Um, and yeah, after my year internship at the career service, I knew I wanted to stay in Leeds even longer if I could. And then also in the university, I think I think something that a lot of people don't often realize is that there are a lot of opportunities to also work in the university. So then I was looking to stay in the university and looking for jobs and then applying for things. And then I was able to secure my current role now, working in the international office. And I don't know, it feels very full circle because now I get to talk to prospective students about how wonderful Leeds is, and how many things it has to offer for students, and like how much of a growing city it is, and that it's like also a great city to stay in after you graduate, and like you'll find lots of opportunities in terms of your career and other things. It's just, yeah, feels very full circle, I think. But yeah, that's about a little bit about me.
Brilliant, thank you so much. It's so interesting to hear how you even learnt about Leeds and how much you love it. Yeah, and I suppose next we can just go on to our Q&A. We have quite a few pre-submitted questions. So we will start with as someone has asked, what is your favourite thing about Leeds?
I can get started. I think I really um like kind of contrast the Leeds has between like being a city that feels very much like a city. Like there's lots of things to do like in the city center. There's like lots of restaurants and like music scene is really big. But then there's also like the campus is so big and like there's like the nature aspect and like there's lots of like green spaces and parks. Like not too far from the city. So I feel like that was a really big plus for me because as much as I love living in a city, I also like the nature aspect and being like in green spaces. So I think Leeds is a really good city to have both of those things. And yeah, there's literally just lots of things to do all the time as well. So I really enjoy that.
I think for me, it would also be the convenience. Like it's very balanced, like Anna's mentioned, that you have the greenery and you have the city center. But I would also say that there's a lot of youngsters. So you get to meet people quite frequently, whether it be at the city center or the university, because there are so many universities. I feel like it's a very young city. So, and it's fast paced as compared to other small cities across the UK. And to be very honest, initially before coming to Leeds, I used to be like I would either work in London or Manchester. When I went to London, I realized that it's not my thing, and I would rather stay in Leeds because of how convenient things are, and it's small yet so big. So that would just be my bit of it.
Yeah, that's perfect. I mean, I couldn't agree more. I think Leeds is the perfect big, busy city, but you've got enough greenery with the Dales and the Peak Districts not too far away. The next question we'd like to ask is when you were looking for jobs in the area, so Leeds and West Yorkshire, where did you kind of go to search for those jobs?
Initially, before I landed my job, I was looking for a lot of summer internships as well during the 2 month break that we had during our course. And I used the My Career website itself, which the University of Leeds offers. And I saw a lot of openings which were relevant to it. And I actually signed up for alerts. So regular alerts came through to my email inbox, and I ended up applying for that. But other than that, I also did a lot of events across the city. That's how I found out about openings. And rather than, I also used LinkedIn to look at the latest jobs in and around the city. So my basic strategy was to create alerts across all websites so that instead of like doom scrolling till the end to find a job, it just comes up to my inbox and I have to apply for it. So that was one of the strategies that I applied.
Yeah, I think yeah, I was very similar. I think for me, as I was wanting to stay in the university, I also um was keeping an eye out for the university roles available, so like jobs.leeds.ac.uk, since there are were like all the jobs within the university are posted. Um, I would also say the big one was LinkedIn, obviously, and just kind of having a research as well on like different smaller companies because I was also like interested in working like maybe on an SME or something like that. So I did kind of uh, take into account of like messaging people directly and being like, do you have any opportunities? So not only like keeping to the posted jobs, but also having a look through other opportunities to see if there was anything else available. And then I guess other websites that I used arts jobs. So I was really interested in doing something like more in the arts sector. So that was a really good way to also find things within the region that were available in that side. Because yeah, I also did communication, so it was like more comms focused. So yeah, I think that was a good one as well.
Brilliant, thank you. I think that's quite a wide variety of great suggestions from you both. Another question that we had is around what skills do you feel that you've developed from your degree that helped you find employment within the area?
I could go first. To be very honest, being an international student, the biggest challenge was adapting to the UK market. And there were a lot of practical sessions being held, especially in terms of tailoring your resume, in terms of tailoring the way you have to be at interviews. Because, of course, there's a huge cultural shift because the way applications and interviews are conducted in India, that's from where I am from, is very different to what is in the UK. So these sessions that were conducted were really helpful and helped me in terms of preparing myself for job interviews specifically and also acing them.
Yeah, I would agree. I think also for me, it was like within the degree, I think there were a lot of things on the structure of the degree that were really helpful. So like a master's is really intense. So like just like things like time management or planning, I think that really helped because it was just like having to deal with like different deadlines and stuff like that. That I think building a structure around those things really helped with like how I do work now and how I do like organization and stuff like that. And then also things like critical skills or like problem solving, teamwork. I think those are all like transferable skills that we sometimes don't realize that we have from degrees. So like you normally will do like group work or like group papers or stuff like that. And then that's really helpful for things that you'll do in your work life. And like it's just kind of knowing how to transfer those things that you learn into what you're applying for and like what you like to do. So yeah, I think it's just like kind of going through the things that you've done on your degree and figuring out how that applies to what you want to apply for. But there's definitely lots of things that you can take out from just like your studies and what you've done throughout your years, yeah, studying.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think transferable skills are something that a lot of people sort of forget that they have, which is really important. And also as an international student, probably adapting to a new culture with the application process is something that a lot of people don't even realize is that difficult, but I'm aware that it is very different. We had another question, which is sort of tailored individually to both of you, would be, Anna, what is the best thing about working at a university in Leeds? And then Vibe, what's the best thing about working in the city council in the public sector in Leeds?
Yeah, I can get started. I think I really, once I started working in the university, I really enjoyed like um, I don't know, I like the warm and welcoming environment. I feel like it's really nice to also like get to work with different teams within the university. Like it's just such a big institution that there's lots of things going on. When I did my internship, I had lots of opportunities to kind of have practical experience with other teams and like to do like that collaboration side of things. And I really enjoyed that. I feel like that really helped me get lots of experience in different things, even in things that maybe I didn't think I was that interested on. Then I ended up being like, oh yeah, I actually really like that. So I think I really like that. And I've always really enjoyed like the student facing aspect of things. So I really enjoyed that when I worked in the career service, so having like that um, facing role with students and graduates. And then now I'm also kind of in a really student facing role, which I enjoy. It's just like, I feel like it's nice getting to talk to people who are now going through what you went through in the past. I feel like it feels really nice when you've had the experience. And you can share a bit like behind the scenes and like things to consider and advice. And yeah, overall, I think the university is really nice place to work, especially when you first graduate. I feel like it's really a cool way to get lots of experience and then also feel like welcomed into like a nice environment.
For me, it would be engaging with both internal and external stakeholders because the council is so huge. You have different departments, and the biggest learning for me was like communications is something that you everyone should pick up and learn on, but there's also different types of communications and how you want to engage with internal and external stakeholders. So I realized that I do that quite often, and that's something I really like, and that's helped me network with a lot of people and build on personal relationships. So although I'm in a professional meeting area, but developing that personal relationship is eventually, I feel like, going to help me later on in my career. So networking is something that I've really picked on after being engaged with the council and the public sector overall, because there's so many people involved in different departments. You just have to find time to, whether be it during the lunch break or the coffee break, you just try to make the most out of it and network as much as you can.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I think that's a really great insight into working in the public sector and at university. I think we had another question submitted, which is talking about how your employers have helped you grow in your career. So, in terms of any professional development that you've had since starting your current jobs, what kind of experiences have you had with that?
For me, it would be the training sessions. So, at least what I know with the council is we have an internal website where we sign up for different training sessions. So, the employer has really helped in terms of personal development and career development. Because, for example, I was looking for this course which was more on website analytics and managing the website and data. So, I really wanted some hands on experience before I actually do the data set, and signing up for that training really helped me understand how to go about it and what the expectations are. So there's a lot of training opportunities available. I think you just have to find the right one and make the most out of it.
Yeah, and I think, yeah, for me in the university, I think is also a big thing within the university for like people working here to have those development opportunities. And there's definitely lots of chances to do that, especially during my internship. I feel like I had lots of different opportunities to do that, like I mentioned, like with other teams, like going in and like kind of working with a team for a day, or I did a couple like training programs that were held by the university. There was one that was called Springboard, which was a really nice program for women working in the university. So that was really helpful because it was like different sessions throughout the year. And also like a nice way to like meet other people working in the university. And then also now in my role, I've also had the chance to like do different training sessions and programs, and I think like it's really good or like important for the university to like for employees to kind of develop those skills and like keep learning and like keep having those opportunities to like um, grow in your role and like kind of develop those things that you're interested on. So yeah, definitely lots of things available. I think the university has a organizational development program where like we have access to lots of things, like including LinkedIn learning and stuff. So there's like lots of like different avenues where people working here can kind of expand on those skills.
Oh, that's brilliant. Thank you. And then, Vibe, if you have sort of any experiences of your own, in terms of sort of like the last question would be like top tips for working in Leeds and West Yorkshire for anyone that's looking for a job there.
For me, it would be like I understand, especially when you're an international student, you have that pressure of getting the job before your visa runs out, or not finding that right job. So my top tip was not to randomly apply, finding your own niche and your set of style of applying. Like at the end of the day, I realized that creating a portfolio, of course, it depends from industry to industry, but at least from the industry that I come in, I realized a lot of recruiters want to see the work that you've done. So I ended up creating a portfolio of all my work and then giving that instead of a resume. So probably finding your own style of applications and using the career services, because I remember I went with my initial resume for a check and for like just a review of what it is like, and I had so many changes initially and they were like, oh, this is wrong, but I understood it came from a good place and it came from the right place for me to get better with it. And I remember going in for the third time, I was just spot on. So using the career services, especially for interviews, for job applications, was really helpful. So utilize that. There's so much that's available already via the university. I think the university also offers a lot of LinkedIn learning courses. Uh, I think there's like you have to sign up via a form, and that's what I did. And I got like 3 months of free LinkedIn learning. So I got to do a lot of courses from in there. So I feel like one would definitely be finding your style of applications. Second would be not to apply everywhere and anywhere. Finding out your skills, your strengths, and shortlisting jobs instead of the job shortlisting you and knowing. So that, because another thing before when I initially started applying for jobs was basically the rejections sort of put me down, and getting like 10 rejections. But then when I created my own strategy, that 10 reduced to like 4 or 5. So that also kept my motivation throughout. So these would definitely be my top tips in while it comes to securing a job in and around Leeds.
Oh, that's
And
perfect.
sorry,
Thank you. Oh, go ahead.
just the last tip would be going to a lot of networking events. There's a lot of events that happen in and around Leeds as well. So signing up for those. Thank you.
No, thank you. Those are some great tips. And then
Yeah.
Anna, if you have any last personal top tips as well.
Yeah, I would agree with Babe that like it's very important to have quality over quantity, I think, on applications. I think sometimes it's easy to kind of get um in panic mode and be like, no, I need to apply to everything that I see. But it's obviously a lot better use of your time if you apply for things that you're like more interested on and that you're maybe like your profile fits better to the role and stuff like that. And I would also say kind of looking at other opportunities. I think like I mentioned before, I think Leeds is a big city with like lots of small and medium companies as well. So like exploring if those are something that you might be interested on. I remember one time I spoke to someone who worked on an SME, and she said that she got her job from like literally messaging someone on LinkedIn and being like, I like what you're doing on your company. I would like to do this. And yeah, I feel like there's lots of different opportunities within Leeds because it's such like a growing city. So you'll never know what doors might open from you, like just messaging someone. I know it feels very like, um, yeah, it's scary to message someone and be like, this is me. But yeah, I think a big thing for me is just like trying things and like without like letting you be scared of things and like be, I don't know, I think like saying no to yourself before someone else says no to you. I think that's very common. Sometimes you'll be like, no, I'll never get that job. Well, I'll never do that. But I feel like if you never like try it, then you'll never know. So I think that's a big thing. And then there's also um like Babe said, like there's lots of opportunities available in Leeds, like fairs and events, like the careers fairs at the university are great because there's normally like lots of companies that work in Leeds or in the region, and often they're like even Leeds graduates, so that's really good because they're really interested on like having more people from the University of Leeds like kind of joining on their companies. But that's a good way to kind of make that initial link and like connection with that company, and then they'll let you know if they have any roles that you can apply for, or how like the application process works or stuff like that. But then there's also like bigger events within the city. I know there's like lots of things happening with the West Yorkshire Combined Authority. So there's like always opportunities for graduates there. There's like things that are more like industry specific. I remember I went to like Leeds Digital, I don't remember what it was called, but it was like a technology festival fair style thing where you had like lots of talks and like networking opportunities with people in the industry working in Leeds. So I feel like going through those opportunities, even though you maybe haven't considered before, like working in a specific industry or area, is really good because that might open you to new possibilities, or like even help you meet some interesting people, and like you never know where some connections will be really helpful for your career. But yeah, I think those are my tips.